Welcome. Today we're going to solve equations with rational coefficients. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to have the problem 3/4 c equals 18. And our basic rules of algebra tell us that when I have an equation here, I'm trying to find out what the value of c is. I do this by isolating c or getting it all by itself. And it will be set to its value when I get to the end. So I'm going to take a look here. I have 3/4 c. I need to remove this 3/4 from the c. I do that by multiplying by the reciprocal of 3/4. And the reciprocal is just this fraction inverted. So 3/4 inverted is an improper fraction of 4/3. And I know in equations I need to do some type of balancing. So if I'm going to multiply this side by 4/3, I also need to multiply this side by 4/3. Okay. So let's go ahead and take care of the left side first. I'm going to take 4/3 times 3/4. I'm going to do some rules that I know for simplifying and multiplying fractions. 3 and 3 can be both simplified down to 1. 4 goes into 4, so I'm going to simplify those down to 1. So that leaves me with 1 over 1 times 1 over 1. And I know 1 over 1 times 1 over 1 is just 1. This would leave me with 1 times c, and the identity property of multiplication tells me 1 times a number will give me that number. So 1 times c in this case will give me c. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply this over here, 18 times 4/3. I'm going to change 18 into a fraction of 18 over 1. Again, I'm going to look here and see is there any simplifying. Yes, this denominator can simplify with this numerator of 18. So 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 18 6 times. So I end up with 6 over 1 times 4 over 1. I have 6 times 4 in my numerators, so that would give me 24. 1 times 1 in my denominator, so that would give me 1. And I know that c is equal to 24 over 1, which can be rewritten as c equals 24. I'm going to double check to make sure this answer is correct by substituting this solution of 24 back into that original equation that we had. So I'm going to take 3/4 c is equal to 18. Again, I'm going to replace the c with the 24 that I got for a solution to see if that's correct. So I got 3/4. I'm multiplying because I know that there's multiplication going on between this coefficient and this variable. So 3/4 times 24 will give me an answer of 18. And because 18 is equal to 18, this lets me know that I have the correct solution. Alright, let's look at an equation with rational coefficients that involves a mixed number. So I have 1 and 1/2. V is equal to 16 and 1/2. First thing I want to do when I have a mixed number is to change it into an improper fraction. For those that have forgotten how to change it into an improper fraction, you take the whole number 1, you multiply it by the denominator of 2, so 1 times 2 is 2, and you add the number of numerator pieces, which is 3. I'm going to keep my denominator the same, so I'm going to keep it as 2. So I have 3 over 2v equals. Now I need to do the same thing over here with this mixed number. I'm going to take 16, because that's the whole number, times the number of pieces it takes to make a whole, which is 2. 16 times 2 is 32, plus the number of pieces of numerator of 1, which is 33. So now I have this equation 3 over 2v equals 33 over 2. Just like before, because I have a fraction here, in this case it's an improper fraction, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to invert 3 over 2 into 2/3. And again, we're multiplying here. I'm also do the same thing to the other side because of balancing of my equation. Again, I'm going to simplify this left side first, this 2/3 and 3 over 2. I know that 3 and 3 simplify down to 1 and 1. 2 and 2 simplify down to both 1s. Again, just like before, 1 over 1 times 1 over 1 is 1. 1 times v, identity property again, gives me an answer of v. I'm going to go over here. I have 33, or I have 2. And I look here and I see a 2. I'm going to simplify those down to 1. I now take a look. I have a 3 and a 33. I know that 3 goes into 33, so I'm going to simplify 3. It goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 33 11 times. 11 over 1 times 1 over 1 would give me an answer of 11. All right. So I want to double check again this solution to make sure it's correct. So I put it back into that original equation. 1 and 1/2 v equals 16 and 1/2. I'm going to put an 11 in for the value of v. One and 1/2 times 11 will give me a solution or an answer of 16 and 1/2. And again, I know that 16 and 1/2 is equivalent to 61 and 1/2, which lets me know that this solution of 11 is correct. All right, let's look at our last example here. Our last example is a little bit different than the first two in that they involve decimals. So we're going to have 3.15 is equal to 0.45 n. Please note that our variable is on the right side now. So we're not going to treat that any different than if the variable was on the left side. We're still going to try to solve and isolate and find out what the value of the variable n is equal to. I know that there's multiplication going on between this coefficient and this variable, so I'm just going to put a multiplication sign in there. I need to remove this 0.5 from the with the variable of n. I do that in fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal, but we're not going to multiply by the reciprocal in this case, so we don't have a fraction. We're going to actually do division. We're going to divide by it, because I know if I take 0.45 and I divide by that same number, I'm going to get 1. So balancing tells me I'm going to have to do the same thing to the other side. So when I take 0.45 divided by 0.45, like I said, that's going to give me 1. Identity property tells me, hey, 1 times n is n. Over here, I'm going to take 3.15 and I'm going to divide it by 0.45. This will give me an answer of 7. So my solution I have is 7 is equal to n. So again, I'm going to throw it back into the original equation to double check that I've done this correctly. So I take 3.15 equals 0.45 n. Substitute 7 in for n. I take 0.45 times 7. This will give me an answer of 3.15. And I know that 3.15 is equivalent to 3.15 and checks out. This lets me know that my n equals 7 is the correct solution. Thanks and have a good day.